Thank you very much. I'm Jeff Mullen, founder and CEO of Dynamics. Started Dynamics to solve the largest problem in U.S. payments. After we built the technology, we raised $40 million. After we sold the largest paid pilots in the history of banking to the world's largest banks for on-card technology, we were certified by MasterCard to introduce these next-generation devices. And earlier this year, we launched them nationally with our first issuer. So what is this problem? It's the fact that we have 60 million 1970s-era magstripe readers using approximately 90% of our day-to-day debit and credit card transactions. And the industry has stated that it's economically infeasible to change this infrastructure in any relevant period of time. And so Dynamics introduced the first card programmable magnetic stripe. We put a complete computer architecture into your credit card. You can press a button, and it will actually change on the fly any bit of information on that magnetic stripe at any given time. Now, product executives at issuers can change the core functions of the credit cards themselves in order to attract consumers that gain value from that differentiating functionality so that you can increase acquisition, increase usage, and increase retention. So let's quickly show you the devices that we previously released. We're going to start off with a clear device. You can see it's just as thin and flexible as a normal device, normal card. All these black specks are semiconductor die. There's over 70 electric components squeezed into 1/10 of a cubic inch of volume. Cards last over 4 years on a single battery charge, and if I turn them on, you will see that they're actually scratch resistant, and they're also completely waterproof. They survive in your washing machine. Additionally, we actually have different products for different types of consumers. For example, to attract convenience-oriented consumers, we actually have a consumer convenience-oriented device. So there's multiple accounts on this device. You simply press the button associated with the account you want to use. You go to a terminal, you swipe, and you go. You can have debit, credit, corporate credit, all in a single product. It's the first true mobile wallet, and it's in deployment in the U.S. right now. To attract security-oriented consumers, in order to increase acquisition, increase usage, and increase retention, let's eradicate credit card fraud. So this device does that. There's a display and 5 buttons. To turn the device on, you enter a code that only you know, and it's the face of the card. If you enter the right code, then your number is displayed visually, so you can use it for your online transactions. And then it writes the stripe magnetically, so you use it for your in-store transactions. After a period of time, the display erases and the stripe erases, so if you lose the card's stolen is irrelevant, it's a dead piece of plastic. To attract the loyalty-oriented consumers, we introduced best-in-class payment functionality, pay with points, 1 button if you want to use credit, 1 button if you want to use your points. So you can pay with your points anywhere cards are accepted. So that solves the largest U.S. infrastructure problem. What we did earlier this year is we decided we were also going to solve the largest European infrastructure problem, which is a problem with the core way that EMV is set up. And so we built the technology, secured issuers, and we actually won in France Best in Show for Best European Hardware Technology. The problem is that after 15 years of EMV deployment in Europe, they hit a wall. Only 83% of magstripe readers in Europe are actually EMV compliant. Additionally, when they introduced EMV in Europe, they wanted multi-applications. They wanted advanced consumer functionality to attract consumers. The problem is that they actually had to build multi-application products, and they wanted you at the point of sale to press 1 button if you wanted to use debit, 1 button if you wanted to use credit. For security, they built it so that you actually had to upgrade the reader software if you wanted to introduce any new functionalities. So today, 15 years after the fact, only debit and credit exists. If you want to go into Europe and you want to introduce pay with credit, pay with points, it would take you 8 years to upgrade 90% of the 83% of magstripe readers that actually accept EMV. And so Dynamics in Europe introduced the solution. We introduced the world's first card programmable EMV chip array. We actually called it chip and choice. There's an embedded chip and there's an exposed chip. We have single application profiles. And when a user presses a button, such as pay with credit, pay with points, just that single application profile is moved to the exposed chip. In doing so, we actually bypass the readers and can finally give consumers in Europe advanced payment functionality. Today, we're going to introduce a very material solution to a very real problem that's occurring internationally. Some companies believe that the best way to solve the chicken and the egg problem is to introduce a turkey. And what do I mean by introducing a turkey? I mean introducing contactless. After 7 years of deployment in the United States, contactless footprint's about 2%. And that contactless footprint is decreasing year over year. Last year alone, there were more magstripe readers for mobile phones that were distributed nationally than there were contactless readers. Additionally, there are no core functions with contactless, and it's an extremely insecure device. It's the worst of the three. I can wirelessly read your card through that contactless antenna by just tapping a wireless reader to your pocket or reading it from yards away. So Dynamics introduces the solution today. We call it chip and choice contactless. We have, once again, two chips, an embedded chip and exposed chip. When you press a button, let's say use credit, use points, we change and move that single application profile from the embedded chip to the actual contactless chip. After a transaction, we actually erase all the information in that contactless chip. So if someone tries to read what's in your wallet, it's impossible. They can't. So today, Dynamics did not just want to introduce the first true consumer-oriented contactless product. We actually wanted to make a statement and introduce the first product in the world that's truly technology agnostic. So this is the first product that includes all three card programmable technologies. It's the first card with the card programmable stripe, card programmable EMV, and card programmable contactless. And we call it triple interface. You can see we preserved all branding on the actual interface so that you can convey to the users exactly the functionality you want them to use. Use credit, use points. On the back of the card, you can see there's all three technologies. There's the world's first card programmable magstripe, the only card programmable contactless, and the only card programmable contact. So now a user just has to select which function they want to use to gain value. And they can swipe if they want to swipe, they can insert if they want to insert, and they can tap if they want to tap. All done with extreme security. All three technologies have anti-skim capabilities, like we just discussed with the RFID. We're in the back. We'd love to show you these cards. Thank you very much.